Good evening and welcome to St. Dennis Ministries. This is Ann Sellers and I'm here with phase 2 of what we are calling public service announcements. During the month of October every year we usually take this time to present different subjects that might be of interest to our community and to the public. We've done such subjects as human trafficking, adoption and foster care and breast cancer awareness. And so we're doing this time, we're calling it public service announcements. And we know that a public service announcement is something of a topic that is of interest to the public. And so we have various topics this month. Last week we did a segment on voting, the effectiveness of voting. And tonight we're going to talk about affordable housing. Our guest tonight is Inez Wells of Omni Affordable Housing Incorporated, and I'm going to let her come on and tell her story. She's going to talk a little bit about her background. She's going to talk about her company and her services that she provides. And so I hope it'll be of interest to those of you who might be interested in public housing, not necessarily public housing, but affordable housing for yourself or for someone else you know. So this is just an informational session. Inez.
Thank you, Ann and St. Dennis Ministries. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to talk about, I want to say my nonprofit, but it's our nonprofit, even though I am the executive director and founder of Omni Affordable Housing. I will tell you a little bit about how it got birthed, but I'll tell you a little bit about me. First, I'm a mother of 4, and I wear many hats. I'm also a manager of global accounts for Helms Briscoe. I also do human resources for Raging Waters Car Wash, and I'm also a realtor as well. I hail originally from Brooklyn, New York. That's my home base. And anyone who has lived in this city, and I grew up during that time of busing, and I grew up in the projects. So we were bused to, the other part of town, and you got to see the beautiful homes on the other side of town. And of course, when you're living in the projects and you're going to the other side and you see the beautiful homes, that is something you want to have. You want your family to live in, all those things. So I think that's where some of the housing started for me. And then my dad, he loved Architectural Digest, and we had those books in the home. So you flip through those books, like I said, during a child in the 60s, you look through those books and that's where you want to be and that's what you want to have. So, a lot of that, kind of was instilled in me. And as I got older and, and time went on, I wanted my parents to have their own home. So, and I was about 15 years old at the time. So that was a task for me. And I went looking and I went searching and I would read the paper daily. And I identified a particular house that I thought that my parents could afford and would like. So we just went through that whole transition from living in the projects to having our own home. So from that, went on to college and went to NYU. And, that still was always with me. Housing was just something that I loved. I loved real estate. And that was my journey into the real estate, field. I moved here to Virginia and had 3 kids at the time. I was pregnant with our 3rd. So, we just saw a lot. We moved into an apartment, and again, Virginia's so beautiful, you want to own your own home. So those things just kind of started the whole journey for me in being a realtor and just the love of homes, but not just that too, wanting other people to be able to afford a home. So when I became a realtor, and and then we're going to fast forward to the 2000s, and we all know what happened during that period when Bush was president, and the housing market was just, you could go to sleep and wake up, and people would want a home. They would call you and it would go under contract, all those, and there was a lot of predatory lending at that time. So they were putting people into homes that could not afford homes. They were making up documents. They were lying. There was just a lot going on. And being a realtor, I saw a lot of that. And I would oftentimes have clients tell me, and I was on the other side because I was on the realtor side, not on the lender side, even though I knew a lot about it. And they would say, Inez, would you sign these documents? And then, sometimes I would say no. But, in saying that, then you're going again. So I would say, well, you need to go back to your lender and talk about things. But these are options, and this is an opportunity, and this can happen. So, you know, I think being a realtor, they all knew that I was always honest, because one thing I always said, I'm not going to go into a supermarket and be ducking behind watermelons and melons or running to another aisle because I've done someone wrong. I just wasn't going to do that. So, you know, as the years went on and, you know, going into corporate America and working, I still had the love for real estate and helping others. So during when the pandemic came and just being home, and I'm thinking about, you know, what to do, my passion again still was affordable housing. Because when you're in the realtor space, a lot of realtors just want to make as much commission as possible because they want the house to be as expensive as possible, because that's more commission for them. But I wanted people to be able to have a home that if, you know, let's just say, you know, a couple, they have some kids, you know, the wife or the husband, one of them might want to stay home. They might want to be able to stay at home and rear their children and watch their children, because nowadays it's society where the TV watches them or the devices. That's what's watching the kids. And sometimes there's no other option, just because, you know, it has to be a 2-income family, you know, in order to pay the mortgage and to eat and utilities and, you know, those things. So, you know, for me, I said the only way that this is going to occur, to happen, because Omni Affordable Houses is also in, you know, in the business of building homes. So, you know, so when I was thinking about this during the pandemic, this is what God, I know, has put upon my heart. And so Omni Affordable Housing, you know, that's when it was born. So, you know, we are new and we are emerging. We was formed in 2021. So that's when we got our status, and we have just been pushing for it. So to tell you a little about what Omni does is that one thing too I found as being a real estate agent is that a lot of people, especially underserved communities whom we help serve, the veterans, we're putting seniors in there, but in low to middle income families and individuals. And a lot of times what you don't know is that there are a lot of programs sometimes within your local county and within your state, but not just that, there are national programs too that you can take advantage of, as far as no down payment, no closing costs. Some are not even credit score driven. And, you know, just to name a few, there is the NACA program, which is a no credit considered. Now, don't get me wrong, when I say no credit considered, it doesn't mean, oh, my, you know, credit is just all jacked up. I don't pay any of the bills and I'm going to get a house, you know. That's not the case, but they will work with you to get to a place where you can, you know, afford a home. And we at Omni want to do that too, because we believe that you need to get some things straight moving forward. We're in a day and time where technology, you know, you can't hide anything nowadays, you know. You know, just, you know, the database and the paper trails and, you know, everything is there. So sometimes you think you're getting away, and you may get away, you know, for some time, but it just seems to catch up with you nowadays, especially with technology. So, again, you know, I was mentioning the NACA program. Like I said, there's no down payment, no closing costs. They allow you to buy down your rate. And I want to say one beautiful thing about the NACA program is that I ran into a woman who she utilized the NACA program in Washington, D.C. And she purchased a duplex. And she was able to get enough money back from either the bank or from the seller, where her interest rate was 0.32%. That's unheard of. And what she used that strategy to rent out the other unit, you know, which paid for itself and then some. And then she just saved her money and she used that to invest in things of that nature. So there's the NACA program. They're not a fast program, but if you follow the steps, I tell everybody, you know, you have time. So start it now, get into the program, do the steps that they tell you to do, and then you'll get to where you need to go. You know, 'cause they will tell you where to go with that. And then also there's a USDA program. Now, the USDA program is a 100% program. And one thing, I guess the downside is that USDA is not available to everybody. You have to be in a specific area where they where it's qualified as a USDA area. But again, sometimes those little pockets are in areas that you can live. And with a lot of, people that are able to work remotely, that's a good option for you. And then, of course, there's all your other, traditional, conventional, FHA, 3.5% down. VHDA has a 100% program as well in the state of Virginia. And of course, your VA loans too. So, but Omni helps people through all those. So everybody's situation can be different and unique. There's some people that need the NAPA program. There's some people that can use the USDA program, FHA, VA, whatever the program is. We work with you on financial literacy because we want you to know about a budget. We want you to be able to pay your bills on time. We also are teaching wealth building as well. We want people to, and we're looking at homes in that way too. So on the side of the building that we are embarking on doing, we will build these homes affordably and then with equity bump. So as you go through our programs and you're doing the steps that needs to be, once we build a home, we will fit you into that home with the hopes that you will have some equity. The amount will be determined based on the area. But that is something that we at Omni that we are doing and pushing forward with the help of other programs, other state and local organizations too, because there's a lot of money out there. So we just are trying to tap into those programs where we can help as many people as we can. And so, and if you don't mind, I want to tell you about a story about a young woman who I had the opportunity to help. And we fight hard, for people. She was a client and I knew, and she was a single mom. Her husband had passed away unexpectedly and she had 4 kids, and 4 kids in an apartment is challenging, right? Because you have people banging on the walls and the floors. It's hard to control for young kids. So so I said to her, you maybe want to look into purchasing a home. She had good credit and she had a decent job along with being able to have the Social Security, from the husband that passed away. So a local program had a down payment assistance, right? So we went through, did all the steps, and she of course qualified for this program. So we went and we took the paperwork. And what also happened during that time is that I had a colleague, and she didn't know about the program, so we were talking about it, and I told her, hey, this may be good for, for your, client as well. And so she went ahead and she did the same steps and submitted the paperwork for her clients. So, we're going through and we're waiting to hear back, and didn't hear anything for a while, so I gave a call and I said, hey, Miss So-and-so, haven't heard back from you yet, he's waiting. She's like, oh, I'll get back to you. It's just kind of just throwing me off a little bit. So, okay, and I'm pretty patient, but I knew too, as, we had a house under contract, we needed these funds. She needed these funds to close. And so we waited a little bit, and she just would not take the calls, and I said, okay, well, we just gonna go to the office and sit down. That's the time you can go to inside the office and sit down. And so I did that, and I brought my client with her because, we want transparency. We want everybody to know what we're doing. And we went there, and the counselor came out. She says, well, y'all just don't qualify. She just doesn't qualify. And I'm saying to myself, that seems really odd because I know she qualifies. Also, I had spoken with my colleague, and my colleague got qualified. Her client got qualified. And so I was like, oh no, there's just something not right here. So what ended up happening is that I went above the counselor's head and went to the head of the department. They looked through all the paperwork and said, oh yes, your client should qualify. They went ahead and they approved her. She got the house. And to this day, she has over $200,000 worth of equity in that home.
That's great.
So, we are dedicated and committed to fighting for you. But we also want everyone to know too, you have to do your part as well. We're not going to necessarily do the work for you, but if you're following the steps and you're doing the things, we are there to help you. We are there to do paperwork. We'll help you with all of those to get you to the place to home ownership. So, but there's a little caveat to this story. I just told you. Years later, my brother came to me. He says, Inez, I have this woman and she's been living in the church and she needs a place to live. And he said the name, but it didn't really register with me at the time because it's been some time. I said, name sounds familiar, but I didn't pay it any mind. And so he said, will you help her? I said, sure. I have no problem helping her. And I met with her, and it was the same woman that denied my client years later. And come to find out, they let her go. And just because of things, she was discriminating against African American clients at the time. So I didn't bring that story up about her and what happened with my client. I don't even know if she remembered that it was me, but I went on ahead and helped her get into it was a rental at the time. So again, Omni Affordable Housing is here. We're here to help people get into a home, their dream home. So
Good job. I have some questions, of course.
Yes. Okay.
Just a generalized question. Does the name, before I get to the other ones, does the name Omni have any significance? That you have any?
Oh yeah, because God, He's omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. So when I just thought of that, it was just encompassing all.
Okay.
And that's what we do. We do it all.
Good job. So we talked about some steps, a process. So can you kind of go over those steps a little bit for us? What does a person have to do in order to go through this program or be able to get approved for a house?
Well, they would go ahead and they would give us a call and just tell us what it is that they want, and we would then at that point make an appointment, and they can book an appointment. If you go online, you can book an appointment, and then you would meet a counselor, and then we would go through the process of taking intake paperwork to go from there. Phone. We give your phone number.
Well, that's my last question. Is give us your contact information. That was
yes. Okay, well, you can contact Omni Affordable Housing at 540-693-5024.
You have a Facebook page and a web page?
My web page is www.omniaffordablehousing.org.
Okay. And, so did we get through all the steps that is necessary? I know they got to contact you.
Right, they contact us. We take in the intake form, see where they are, and then after that, they have to take financial classes. And in order to move on to the next step as to, what house or to getting a house, they have to go through the financial literacy portion and have to pass that class.
Okay.
Because we want to know that they know what to do.
Do you have instructors on site or part of your team that does that, or how's that?
Yes, that is all done. Just keep things kind of in a secure place. Right? Yeah, they go on, and we will do the steps with them and take everything down.
Okay. So they're taking the class.
Yes.
And then what happens next?
And then after the class, after the financial literacy class, that's then when we hook them up with. Then we can determine what program is best for them. So we have some loan officers. So the NACA program is sort of a different type of program. So we would connect them with that. But before that, we sort of identified the need, the NACA program. The one thing about NACA, in order to move forward with getting that program done, is that you have to take a class. So you'll have to go online and set up. They used to do it online, but right now we just found out everything now is in person. So they would have to go through that and get a NACA ID. So once you get the NACA ID, Then after that, then you can start the process to use the NACA program. Okay. And then we are here, and we're sort of like the third party that will help people with the paperwork. Things like, Inez, I need this, I need this. We write letters. We help with all those things that help you get to the place. Whatever NACA needs, we help you get those documents.
Okay. I know we talked a little bit about who your clients are you work with. Just talk about that again. Who are your clients? Who do you work with? What kind of different kinds of people that you work with?
Well, we work with all people. We're not going to turn away, but we know that the people that have, that make a lot of money don't need us necessarily. Mm-hmm. So we more so target the low to middle income based off of Virginia standards. Mm-hmm. You fall within that guidelines, and that's all based on how many people are in your family. Mm-hmm. So we work with those. We work with veterans, more of like your disabled veterans. We kind of work with that. We're not specific to that, but that's kind of what we gear towards working with. And then we're starting to look at the senior market because that is huge too right now. Absolutely. And housing is just so unaffordable now. And, we're just trying to see how we can monetize that so that people can live and work, not necessarily live in a room. That's what a lot of people now are being pushed to. Absolutely. And a lot of people living still in hotels, families, in one-room hotel, just because they can't afford now to find a place. Even apartments are just crazy and through the roof. So those are who we help with. And it's not, the process may be quick for some and not as quick for others. So we always say, people be patient, be patient with us, and we can help. Okay.
I also saw that you had an outreach part of your organization. Tell us about that part.
You mean the different organizations that we work with?
Yeah, and I think I remember just seeing the caption when you had outreach on there. So.
Okay, I think. Wow. Okay. I'm trying to think because my daughter works with me, so she kind of. I'm trying to think with the outreach program that we work with. I think with that is meaning working with like the Micah House. They're a ministry that is in the Fredericksburg area. So there's Micah House, Habitat for Humanity, and I think those are the only two right now that we, work with, kind of partner with, trying to partner.
Okay, well, that kind of takes care of all my questions for the moment. Again, we wanted to give your contact information out again, and so that we'll be able to, those who are interested will be able to contact you. We'll try to put that up also on our webpage later on so that you'll be able to do that. And so,
before you go to your
another question?
Yeah, one question. Do any of the programs, can you combine them? NACA with VA, or do they cross-pollinate?
No. Each program is definitely independent too.
It's stated question, so they don't know. They might not have heard her. So, what did you just answer?
Okay. She asked whether or not we can combine any of the programs like NACA with VA or NACA and conventional FHA. No, you can only have one program that you can qualify for a loan for because they just sort of all different. Like NACA, there you don't pay for any closing costs, no down payment. They have to, and it's not credit score driven, so you can't combine like conventional. They're more credit score driven.
Okay. Did you have any other questions? Okay. Any questions from the audience? Okay. Good deal. Good deal. Okay. So that was very informative, and I hope that those of you who are listening gain some knowledge. Inez works primarily in the Fredericksburg area, but the information she's providing is not only included in those areas, exclusive to those areas. So,
I do have one question.
Okay, one question coming in.
I'm searching to relocate and find an affordable house. Do you have a program for that?
Relocation, I guess,
okay.
Basically.
Is she relocating in a general area, I guess? Or is she relocating here, I guess? Well,
she's here.
Okay, she is here and she wants to relocate within Virginia. Is she? Well, Yes, we do. We do help, especially if you're here in the Virginia area. We can help you. Yes.
Okay.
And I know we are in Fredericksburg, but we do also have projects out in Crew right now that we're working on. We have someone that's just acquired an actual mobile home park that we're looking to turn over and make it where it's a nice, affordable place to live. And that's something that we're working on too. So, yes, we're based out of Fredericksburg, but we are looking at other areas too.
Right. And you did talk about that. You said that not only are you helping people to get into houses, but you're trying to purchase property to build? Or
Yes, we're purchasing land because, like, again, USDA has great programs where we could acquire the land and the lots, and they will connect people with the lot and put the house on. So just based on, your income guidelines and what you qualify for, we kind of have a range that we have, that we know internally of, what we want to acquire and build so that so that low and middle and veterans and seniors are able to afford.
Okay. Out of the question about the relocation, another question: are the programs transferable? Are they in other states?
Yes.
National programs.
Yes, these are all national programs. NACA, USDA, FHA, conventional VA. They're all national programs. Yes, except for VHDA. That's only specific to Virginia.
Now, for the person who has questions about the relocation and whatever, you can contact Inez at
540-693-5024.
Okay, so for your specific questions, because
put it in the chat.
Okay, good deal. Okay, well, I think this has been informative and good information, and certainly if you have other questions, comments, you are more than welcome to contact us or contact Inez, and we'll try to get those questions answered, because as I said, this is information we provided for you, those of you who are interested. It might not apply to everybody tonight, and we understand that, but for those of you who have questions about housing, this is her heart is for everybody to have a house. We also want everybody to have a house, a home. And so don't think that it's impossible, because it's not. And so I think through this young lady, through her organization, they'll be able to help you if you follow the program to be able to get a place to live. Is there another question, Jan?
One other question. Kind of birthing out of me. One of the chat persons said, I want to buy a house all on one level. Is the homes for all types of levels?
Repeat the question.
Okay, so so the question is it just one level house, and can you have like a 2 levels or 3 levels?
Yeah. Yes. She specifically wants to buy one level.
Oh, Oh, absolutely. One level ones are actually the best ones. They're the cheapest to build, but yes.
Okay. Any more questions? Okay. Good job. As I said, we certainly thank Inez for coming with us today, to take her time out to come in and talk to us and share that information with us. And I hope that we'll have a lasting relationship. It won't be the first time we get a chance to talk to her about what the subjects that we're talking about tonight, the affordable housing. As I said, this month is a month of information. We're sharing information with the public, and we got different topics. And so we got another question coming in. I'll give it to you in just 1 minute. And so, as I said, we'll be doing this for the whole month. We'll be having different sessions on where we're having information to be shared. Tammy, another question.
Final question. Do you have houses for rent?
Do you have question?
I want to say yes, but not currently. We don't have any inventory now. But will we help people with rental housing? Yes, we will help people with rental housing too.
Okay, that's a question I
yes,
right
that's
now.
Our realtor side.
To ask about rental property.
Absolutely.
Okay. So what we as I said, this is Cindy Dennis Ministries, and next week we're going to talk about women protection or protection period, because we hear the news about people being abducted, they've been kidnapped, they've been purses snatched or cars hijacked or whatever. And so we're going to bring in a police officer from the Fairfax County Police Department to talk to us about that. So that would be public service announcement number 3, and it'll deal with female protection. However, we're not eliminating the men, so you're welcome to watch for your wife, your sister, your girlfriend, or whoever's in your life. We would want that information to get out. So join us again next Monday night at 7 p.m. Thank you for joining us, and have a good evening. Thank you so much.